5 suspects accused of helping Thabo Bester escape from prison will know today if they will remain behind bars or not. Magistrate Mohlolo Khabisi is expected to make a ruling on their bail application. The former G4S wardens and a CCTV technician have all argued that they are not a flight risk and should be granted bail, but the state has opposed that. Our eNCA senior reporter Silindelo Masikane still at the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court ahead of that ruling and that announcement, of course, in I suppose just over 30 minutes time or so. But Slee, good morning to you once again. Colleague, was seeing there the visual of Katlego Bereng, but also Katlego Bereng's mother, understandably emotional today as she, like the rest of the country, will get to find out what's Magistrate Mohlolo Khabisi's ruling.
Certainly so. We just saw the arrival of Katlego Bereng's mother here outside the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court. She, as you can see, very emotional and has been ever since finding out that the DNA that she took actually matched that of her son, who disappeared about a year ago, around March 2022. And recently, just around April, police did DNA tests on her that matched that the body that was planted in Bester's cell actually belonged to her son. And it's been an emotional couple of weeks. She came to court for the very first time last week, and she has already stated that she does not believe that the accused should be granted bail. The murder charge against the accused has been dropped actually, and we understand it's a provisional withdrawal of that murder charge, and that is because, of course, at this point there is no evidence linking the accused to the actual murder of Katlego Bereng. However, she does seem as though she is willing to speak to the media. Let's take a listen.
Legodimo la mpona legodimo ngwanaka wa mpona le ka gare ga khotho o teng ngwanaka ka gare ga khotho bail never by told navy aba bail aba tlo go ikreya never by kreya bail Katlego o teng ka mo khotho never by kreya bail ya re tshepisitseng wa tshepagala enotla nna ntse tshepagalana le rona ha ke na mantso mentsi.
Mama, I saw you praying right now. Maybe explain to us why it is so important for you to come out and have your son outside of court, the visual of your son outside of court, and for you to come here and get on your knees and pray. What are you asking for, Mama?
Ke kopa di ancestors tsaka, ke gopela di ancestors tsaka di nketelele ko pele. Ke gopelela le ngwana ka nketelele ko pele. Ba tsene le nna ka mo court. Ba lwe. Bailing ena. Ba lwe. Le ba bolaileng Katlego. Ba sa ba gwetsa bail. Thank you.
All right, that is Katlego's mother. As you can see that she's come out. She's come out with candles, with pictures of her son, with signs saying no bail, justice for Katlego. She's saying that just moments ago we saw her praying on her hands and her knees, praying, saying that she's asking her ancestors to accompany her inside court, as well as Katlego's spirit to be with her inside court and to not allow the accused to be released on bail or to be granted bail. We do know, of course, from the testimony of the investigating officer that allegedly Katlego Bereng had collapsed at a taxi rank and that his body was transported by an ambulance to one of the government hospitals. This is where he subsequently was declared deceased. And from what we understand, the doctor said that he was suffering from low sugar levels. And then from what we understand from the IO is that it's alleged that Dr. Nandipa arrived at the hospital with a Zander Moyo, claiming that she was assisting the Zander Moyo to identify and retrieve the body of this Zander Moyo. However, we understand that the body that was retrieved was that of Katlego Bereng, which was then used as a decoy for the escape of Thabo Bester from the Mangaung Correctional Facility. From the evidence of the investigating officer, he went on to say that it's alleged that the vehicle that transported Bering's body inside the prison was hired by Dr. Nandipa's father, Zolile Sekeleni. It's also alleged that accused number 1, who is applicant number 1 in this bail application, Sinuhe Matswara, the former G4S supervisor, he then allegedly was the one who transported that body into the prison and was allowed in by accused number 6. That is Buti Masukela or Mutenyana Masukela. He is the one who allowed that van carrying Bering's body into the prison to get inside without being searched or for Matswara to have a pass. We then, of course, know that Bering's body was kept in a dark room and then retrieved by accused number 3. Applicant number 2 in this bail application, that is Thabo Bester, the CCTV technician who also allegedly switched off the cameras, carried Bering's body in a dustbin across of the prison yard in order to be able to plant it into Bester's cell. We then know, of course, that from the evidence given by the investigating officer that accused number 1, Sinuhe Matswara, then proceeded to distract, allegedly, one of the wardens that was at the single cells area where Bester was being kept in order to allow for the body to be planted, making sure that the warden that was on duty was not around, and it's also alleged that Matswara did nothing after alerting officials that there was an apparent fire inside Bester's cell. We also understand that accused number 3, Thabo Bester, the CCTV technician, is also accused of actually leading Bester outside of the prison, walking him out dressed as a G4S official in uniform. So the evidence at hand right now is that what we know for sure is that Katlego Bering's body was the one that was used as a decoy to allow for this escape to happen, and then accused number 7 and 8, which is applicant 4 and 5 in this matter, that is Diego Makotsa and Nastasia Jansen. From what we understand is that they were in the control room and allegedly opened the gates which allowed Bester to be released and allowing him to walk out of the prison gates of the Mangaung Correctional Center. So that is the evidence that we have right now that was presented in the opposition of bail by the state of the accused in this matter. The state saying that the accused aided and abetted and facilitated the escape of a convicted murderer and rapist, allowing him to be back into society. And of course we know that from some of the investigations that we've done that Thabo Bester seemingly lived a very lavish lifestyle, not only inside but outside of prison. He lived in Hyde Park, which is one of the most expensive, one of the most sought after suburbs in Johannesburg. He lived there with Dr. Nandipa for at least 10 months before a picture began circulating of Thabo Bester with Dr. Nandipa at a retail shop, and of course various reports from ground up, which of course then in essence put pressure on authorities to not only confirm that Bester had escaped, but to also begin a manhunt after Dr. Nandipa and Thabo Bester fled the country, only to be captured in Tanzania, in Arusha, Tanzania. And of course, we know from the briefings we've had from officials that they were about 10 kilometers away from the Kenyan border, and officials suspect that they were again trying to move further and further away from the borders, of course, of South Africa before they were arrested. So at this point, we have already seen some of the family members of the accused. In fact, I just had a brief conversation with the family of Nastasia Jansen. They've told me that they're quite nervous. They're not sure if she's going to be receiving bail, but they are hopeful. Of course, it's been quite a grueling 3 weeks for the families of the accused. And of course, the South African public also divided in terms of whether the accused should or should not be granted bail. Some believe that authorities have not done enough to catch the bigger fish in this escape. The managers of the prison, perhaps those in high-ranking positions in correctional services and G4S. You know, questions are being asked as to when are they going to also face the music like these ones who, of course, we know some were paid, others weren't paid, allegedly by Bester to facilitate this escape. From what we understand, the first accused, Noha Matwara, received at least 150,000 rand from a TK Ngwana, who we know, of course, is one of the many aliases that Bester used. And we know that some of the other accused didn't get paid, but those that did get paid were also promised millions of rand, some 2.5 million rand, which they were promised to facilitate this escape. So as you can see, we do have some media personnel and of course Katleho's mother, who is preparing to go inside. For the past few weeks, we require tags to be able to be allowed into the courtroom ahead of court proceedings. So we're moments away, about 15 minutes away. So we will also be getting ourselves ready to go inside, where we will be awaiting that verdict from the magistrate.
As we continue to await for that ruling from Magistrate Mohlolo Khabisi, colleague, I saw the poster of Katlego Pereng just outside with candles where her mother was praying, and you know, it was difficult to ignore the fact that it was Katlego's birthday this month. He was born on the 18th of May 1991, according to that poster of Katlego. And you know, I can imagine for a mother it being difficult because it is Katlego's birthday month. So many memories of when a mother gave birth to her son, and for that same son to be taken in such a tragic manner, his life ending so tragically just before he turned, of course, 32 this month. That's when, of course, Katlego's mother, as you can see, entering, of course, those courts, preparing to get into court. We'll, of course, wait to hear what the ruling is of Magistrate Mohlolo Khabisi, and we leave it there with Silindelo Masikane as, of course, herself and the team prepare to position themselves in court, and we'll be sure to give you that live update right here on eNCA.